Alright, you and I are about to dive into this insane story. It all starts with childhood memories at a festival stall, where everyone yells Jingo's name for pulling number 35. Seeing this, the little boy focuses completely, claiming he can feel victory close by, while the stall owner looks totally annoyed, wondering how many prizes this kid is going to take home today. Suddenly, Gino is celebrating with a giant fish pastry in his hands, inviting all of his friends to eat. Soon after, they share the fish pastry. At the park, the kids happily eat, declaring that our main character is the absolute best for always sharing everything with them. The boy eats his piece while reflecting that, for as long as he can remember, he has always had unreal, out of this world luck. He continues to think that he never actually paused to deeply analyze this incredible, mysterious good fortune of his. The kid just lived a normal life without thinking much of it, like anyone else. Back in the present, we see him older, playing video games while a friend tells him to hurry up. Another teammate doubts anything good will drop, but Gino tells him to chill out, asking them to wait. A chest appears on screen, and a teammate bets him 1 million gold if he can pull the rare item. He accepts the bet and warns them not to back out later, totally confident that his ability is much more than pure luck. He says it is hard to explain, but he feels an amazing vibe. His hand on the mouse starts to glow, and his entire body vibrates with pure anticipation. Now watch closely here, because a mysterious blue aura completely surrounds our deeply focused main character. With everything ready, he finally clicks his mouse to open up the reward chest. Upon clicking, the chest pops open with a massive, blinding explosion of light. From inside, a legendary sword emerges, leaving his gaming friends in absolute shock. A friend wonders how this is even possible with such low drop rates, while he brags, saying he always delivers. He leans back in his gaming chair, looking extremely relieved and satisfied with the sweet result. But soon his expression shifts, realizing that, at the end of the day, this luck is completely useless in the real world. It is a gift that only works inside video games, and he has been living this repetitive routine for 2 whole years. On his phone, a job rejections message pops up, and he gets annoyed, muttering that they just do not recognize real talent. Immediately, another notification arrives, and he cannot believe he failed the second stage again. Time passes, and our main character keeps getting more and more job rejections. After being rejected about 100 times, his confidence is completely shattered, leaving him with absolutely no hope. Because of this, the young guy began diving deeper and deeper into gaming just to escape his harsh reality. All this just to escape a boring life that left him completely frustrated. I know what you are thinking, but seeing note from his parents leaving dinner money makes him realize he hit rock bottom. So he decides to change inside the game. His friends are shocked and ask why he is suddenly logging off so out of the blue, looking pretty sad. Our main character explains to them that it is not what they are all thinking. He then tells his guildmates that he needs to start looking for a real, actual job. They totally understand the pressure and deeply regret his departure, since he was a key member of their group. Suddenly, he receives a private message from the guild leader using his real name, asking which university he attended, to which he replies Jensen University. She continues her questioning, wanting to know his major, and the young man reveals he studied business administrations, with a wide smile. The leader advises him not to waste any more time searching for a job. A smiling man suddenly invites him to work at his very own company. Hearing this offer, our main character is speechless and completely shocked. The guild leader clarifies that she does not expect much at first. She just wants him to do the same things in the office as in the game, leaving him totally confused. Gino screams in distress, wondering what kind of business this is, just as a massive corporate building comes into view. The next day in an office, they review his resume, pointing out his total lack of experience. A manager receives a direct order from the female director to place him in sales. Team leader Park Hong-seo is incredibly shocked to find out that the order came directly from the big boss. An employee comments that this is the first time the director has sent over a resume out of nowhere. Another colleague nods along while an image clearly illustrates exactly what this crazy situation means for the entire team. The young guy was instantly hired by the president without going through any kind of actual selection process. For this reason, everyone views him as a total free rider who landed the job out of pure luck. Meanwhile, the leader walks down the hallway, explaining that the stock market opens at 9. However, due to the opening auction, actual trading begins at 8:30 in the morning. Then comes the closing auction at 3:40. You and I need to stick around for the next chapter. All right, brace yourselves. Because for 7 hours, this place turns into a high-stakes war zone where billions vanish in seconds. The team leader can't comprehend why they dumped some connected rookie right into a brutal environment like this. Finally, Gino arrives in a sharp suit to meet his new team. He is incredibly anxious, but tries to keep his composure in front of the big boss. The group leader asks him flat out if this is his very first time working in finance, and our main character admits it. The boss is speechless that they sent him an absolute beginner he has to train from scratch. He feels the higher-ups only threw him here to fill a quota, completely ignoring his lack of experience. So the leader calls over one of his employees, Lehi Ren, who responds immediately. He introduces the rookie and tells Associate Lee to show him the ropes. She agrees with a bright smile, looking genuinely excited to welcome her new coworker. Just like that, she begins guiding Gino through the office, pointing out his new desk. Our main character still cannot believe he actually landed a job in such a prestigious company. He thinks back to his gaming buddy, who turned out to be the chief executive officer of a top 10 national firm. His mentor snaps him out of his daydream by hitting the start button on the coffee machine. She explains they literally survive on coffee and must prepare everything before the big meeting. But she warns him never to serve Leader Park, who is incredibly disciplined and avoids caffeine. She also warns him that the pace here is absolute madness and he needs to process data fast. Let's be honest, this place is a massive casino where billions change hands and very few escape with their sanity intact. In that moment, she stares at him with absolute seriousness and asks if he can handle the pressure. She tells him brokerage isn't for the weak, terrifying the rookie, but she suddenly laughs, admitting she was only joking and that every job has its struggles. Then she suggests that since they are teammate partners now, they should make one very important promise. She proposes that no matter how difficult things get, neither of them will ever quit without warning. Our protagonist looks at his new colleague and realizes she is completely different from what he expected. This fills him with genuine hope, feeling that with a mentor like her, he might actually survive. Shortly after, we cut to a meeting where someone is presenting highly complex financial projections on screen. The leader carries on, talking about high-stakes investors and market volatility, with a serious expression. He warns everyone they must manage risk with extreme caution. The boss orders them to prepare strategies to cover potential losses. But the rookie is utterly lost and doesn't understand a single word they are saying. Staring up at the massive corporate building, he seriously starts doubting whether he can survive this job. Later, the young man calls the chief executive officer, who laughs and tells him to use his casual title. His friend asks if he arrived safely, and Genio confesses his fear of being a burden. But the big boss reassures him, insisting he has a great eye for talent and knows he is a hard worker. Pay attention here, he reveals he simply wanted to reward him for all the crucial help in their video game. The rookie is visibly touched by this incredible support. His gaming buddy advises him to treat his bosses well, just like he managed things back in their guild. Before hanging up, he instructs him that if anyone asks, just say he has no clue how he got hired. The call ends, leaving our main character alone in the hallway, trying to process everything. He lets out a deep sigh. He is still uncertain, but far more relaxed. Just then, a colleague calls him back to work, and he replies he is on his way. Back at his desk, he stares at the words "mock trading" flashing across his computer monitors. His mentor mentions she won a university tournament in this, asking if he has any experience of his own. He admits he doesn't, so she assumes he prefers the real market. She immediately starts explaining why they run these simulations. She clarifies that the company would never give real money to a rookie to invest without testing them first. That is why they use virtual funds to train and evaluate the performance of their junior staff. Hearing this, Gino asks if standing out in the simulator will turn him into an official pro. She confirms that results are everything, and in the end, the person who makes the most profit is king. The rookie processes this and realizes things are simpler than he expected. On screen, the clock reads almost 9 in the morning. Right as the clock strikes 9, the stock market officially opens for trading. Suddenly, the quiet office erupts into absolute chaos as everyone begins working frantically. The protagonist and his partner watch the madness unfold as the market takes off. The once quiet space is now flooded with people shouting on their phones. The screens show wild market fluctuations. And trust me, you and I are going to want to see what happens next. Let's dive in and watch as everyone starts typing furiously, completely locked onto their multiple screens. The whole team instantly transforms into elite, laser-focused professionals. Joe stares at the scene in absolute awe, finally realizing how a real brokerage actually operates. He watches everything with intense concentration, but soon a cold of drop sweat rolls down his face. Suddenly, the young man feels a strange sensation in his fingertips as his hand glows blue. At that very moment, a bright, familiar light flashes right before his eyes. A powerful blue aura completely wraps around him, leaving him wondering what exactly he is experiencing right now. Then he remembers. This is the exact same feeling he gets right before pulling a rare item in his video games. Meanwhile, his coworker tries to explain to him that the blue light actually means the price is crashing hard. Seeing he is totally zoned out, she asks what he is doing. He silently weighs his special skill, great for gaming, but totally useless in the real world. But right at that moment, you need to watch closely. A sudden tingle in his body warns him of something massive. A cold shiver runs down his spine, and a smile of absolute confidence suddenly spreads across his face. Guided solely by his gaming instincts, he clicks his mouse and instantly executes a direct buy order. His mentor is completely shocked by the rookie's reckless move and confronts him. She is left utterly breathless, unable to believe what she just witnessed. She furiously scolds him for hitting the buy button out of nowhere and placing a full market price order, pointing directly at the screen's chart. She demands to know exactly what color he is seeing on his monitor. She explains blue means a drop, and Jino asks if he should sell. She says no, explaining they might have a chance if it turns green. The protagonist apologizes with an awkward, nervous smile for letting his wild instincts completely take over. His coworker tries to calm him down, telling him not to stress since this is just a practice round with fake money. The young man realizes he acted without thinking due to that weird hunch, but the stock keeps plummeting. He feels stupid for getting his hopes up, thinking his gaming skill would actually work. His boss watches him in silence, clearly worried about his situation. Suddenly, a mysterious figure appears on screen to explain a rapid investment strategy. This method focuses on securing tiny profits through multiple quick trades throughout the entire day. These trades last anywhere from a few seconds to minutes, demanding extreme agility and quick reflexes from the traders. They call this day trading, and this high-energy office is the ultimate hub for these massive adrenaline junkies. Every minute and every single second, a brutal life-or-death battle between profit and loss plays out on these screens. In this high-tension environment, you and I know a single click decides everything. Finally, the trading day ends and the market closes. What follows next is either a wave of pure euphoria or absolute frustration, entirely depending on each person's performance. One employee celebrates a return of 1.3%, drawing immediate reactions from his nearby colleagues. The rookie asks if a mere 1% return is really that impressive, and his mentor immediately confirms it. She explains that with a 20 billion fund, this strategy pulls in a yearly profit of 3 billion. She insists that around here, whoever makes the most cash is king, a rule everyone respects. Just then, the boss calls out the celebrating worker. The boss congratulates him for his brilliant performance, urging him to keep delivering these incredible, high-level results. The man expresses his gratitude with pride, but his leader warns him that the real hard work is only starting. He then instructs the entire team to calculate their daily tallies and start mapping out tomorrow's trading strategy. Over at his desk, a female employee approaches the boss with hesitation. He notices and asks Assistant Manager Lee if she has something to say, wearing a slightly tense smile on her face. The young woman begins bringing up an incredibly delicate, private matter. Sipping his protein shake, the boss asks her directly what exactly happened. She reveals the rookie accidentally bought an entire position in a single stock, claiming it was just a training error to protect his score. The boss finds it incredibly strange that she is already sticking up for a rookie she literally met just yesterday. He says he understands and promises not to be too harsh on the newcomer, while also telling her to prep for the next meeting. But he firmly emphasizes that she still needs to give the kid proper, thorough training regardless. She expresses her relief and thanks him. Alone in his office, the boss logs into the system to analyze the whole situation. Looking at the specific stock the kid bought, he thinks it is an incredibly bizarre choice for the current market. He reasons that rookie mistakes are perfectly normal, which is exactly why they run these mock trading simulations. Yet buying a full position at market value is never done without some hidden motive, immediately raising serious red flags for the experienced leader. Shaking his head, he lets it go, though you and I both know this crazy high-stakes game is only just beginning. All right, you and I are about to watch a rookie everyone thinks got in through pure luck. The second the market closes, a massive storm of work hits the entire office. Suddenly, an absolute mountain of tasks drops, and everyone scrambles to finish on time. They demand data reports and documents for the strategy meeting. After hours buried deep in paperwork, the young rookie finally looks up and realizes how late it is. And by the time he checks, he has already put in 14 intense hours of work. His senior coworker smiles, asking if the newbie is finally ready to head home. As they walk out, she congratulates him, saying he did an amazing job on his very first day, though she does not miss the chance to tease him about that tiny mistake he made earlier. Embarrassed, he scratches his head, asking if it really was that small. She laughs and reassures him, saying nobody is going to punish him over a simple rookie mistake. She jokes that team leader Park might be harsh, making the kid panic instantly. But she quickly reminds him of their promise to never, ever run away. No matter how tough things get, she waves goodbye, and the grateful rookie bows deeply to thank her, with a silly grin on his face. He thinks he is incredibly lucky to have such a kind mentor. Still exhausted from the endless day, he keeps walking, thinking about how amazing his coworker is. Then suddenly, pay attention here, his phone starts ringing, and he gets a shock when he sees the caller. It is the company CEO, who scolds him and tells him to just call him Ayong like before. His friend asks if work is too brutal, but the rookie says he is fine. Then he admits that. Honestly, he was blown away by how incredibly dedicated everyone in the office is. Our protagonist describes the insane workload and the suffocating tension of his very first shift. It made him realize that while he was doing nothing, everyone else was working their hearts out daily. With complete honesty, he confesses he still doubts if he truly belongs in such an intense workplace. The big boss reassures him, saying his eye for talent never fails and that he will do great. Then he changes the subject, asking when he is logging into the game, because he is already waiting online. His friend jokes that working will kill his late-night gaming, but the young man says no way. Then he realizes that clocking out does not mean his day is over, so he quickly hangs up. Smiling, our MC starts sprinting through the streets so he does not keep his friend waiting. The next day, the office is already packed with people working hard early on. One of the employees clicks his mouse with absolute focus, checking off another of his daily tasks. In this tense environment, we see a man yelling on the phone under his coworker's watchful eye. The team leader announces the end of the market shift and calls everyone to a meeting in 15 minutes. Inside the conference room, the boss asks if anything major went down in the financial market today. An employee emails him the data, and Park reviews the report. Analyzing the document, he notes that most insurance companies took a massive hit today. Now I know what you are thinking, but look closer, because the boss spots something bizarre in the charts. His eyes fly wide open in pure shock, and a bead of sweat drops as he stares at one stock's performance. The insurance stock our rookie bought yesterday took an unbelievable turn. The chart that was crashing has suddenly made a monstrous recovery. The stock price absolutely skyrocketed, locking in a massive 15% gain in value. His senior worker is completely stunned, shouting out to ask if that is the stock the rookie bought. The veteran stares at Jinyo, demanding to know how on earth he predicted this rise. Our protagonist tries to play it cool, but she is totally losing it. Right at that exact second, the team leader looms from behind, calling out the kid by his full name, with a deadly serious expression on his face. The boss tells him to come into his office for a private chat. We cut to the rookie on the subway, looking absolutely drained after this long day. He is heading home, squeezed into the crowd, without an ounce of energy left, to try and recharge a little for the long ride back. The exhausted kid chugs down an energy drink. He thinks that even after working and gaming a bit, he just cannot shake off this heavy, piled up fatigue. With a strained smile on his face, he reflects on how incredibly burned out he is after just 2 days. When he gets home, his parents are in disbelief over his new job. He tries to assure them it is real, but his mom still doubts he actually got hired at such a place. He gets annoyed, but his dad steps in to defend him. And that is where we leave it. Guys, watching a proud father celebrate his son's massive achievement. Let us dive into the moment his parents smiled, cheering him on to keep pushing through hard times. Our main character realizes he could not even remember the last time he saw them looking this happy. The next day, he walks to work, completely determined to give it his all no matter what. At the office, his coworker greets him with a cheerful good morning, smiling as she says she is so glad he kept his promise and did not give up. Looking determined, Jinyo replies that they must try their hardest once again. Suddenly, his coworker stops in shock at her computer, showing him the screen to reveal the stock he bought yesterday just jumped 15%. He stands there completely shocked, wondering if his special ability actually worked this time around. A bead of sweat rolls down his face as he stares at the screen, unable to believe his eyes. He immediately starts calculating how much cash he would have made with actual capital. Just then, the team leader sneaks up and calls his name, stepping forward with an intimidating presence to speak with the rookie in private. He calls him into his office for a private talk, making the young man feel incredibly tense. Stepping inside, our main character encounters a vibe that is completely different from what he expected. The room is a fully equipped gym, making him wonder if the boss works out here to save time. The man breaks the silence, asking the rookie how things have been going for him so far. Sensing something strange is going on, he decides to investigate. The boss then tells Gino to call assistant manager Leahy Ren to his office. The young woman enters the manager's office and stands right before his desk, waiting for her instructions. They stare at each other in tense silence for a brief moment before the leader finally speaks up. Heading back to his desk, Gino's coworker asks what went down. She then happily shares that they will now focus strictly on trading. She explains it is because of the stock he picked, leaving Gino to wonder if that is a good sign. She points out this means more market hours and a much higher chance of getting promoted. She thanks Gino for the big opportunity, but he humbly claims it was just beginner's luck. His colleague suggests paying close attention in the meeting to seize the chance, and he feels excited to focus on trading all day. The scene shifts to the start of the team meeting as the projector suddenly powers on. The leader kicks off the presentation, asking the room if everyone reviewed the daily reports. He mentions the current hot topic is electric vehicles and supply chains, analyzing market trends before the opening bell rings. During these sessions, They focus on the specific sectors most likely to explode with growth today. Jotting down the terms. The young man begins to think this job is not so different from playing video games. Now pay close attention here, because he starts comparing stock strategies to RPG quests, though he still struggles to grasp it all. Once the meeting wraps up, the boss warns them not to get greedy or try making everything back at once. He orders them to trade with extreme caution to prevent any further heavy losses. With the meeting done, the team gears up. As they leave, another employee asks Gino and his co-worker for some quick assistance, but the manager steps in immediately, ordering him to ask other departments instead. The boss explains he has a different task for this duo, and the co-worker quickly gets the message. Manager Park's intentions are crystal clear to everyone. He basically sent a direct warning that no one should disturb them for a while. Our main character realizes this is his golden opportunity to finally prove his worth to the company. He sits down in his chair and prepares to trade in the market, hands ready over the keyboard and mouse. Stock charts and blinking numbers flash across the monitor, showing how incredibly volatile the market is today. His eyes remain locked to the screen, scanning every tiny shift and potential opportunity that pops up. I know what you are thinking. As he drags the cursor, he knows that if his power works, everything changes. With that exciting thought, he puts his entire focus into analyzing the financial market. His hand rests on the mouse as he waits patiently for the exact moment to strike. Suddenly, his eyes glow as that blue aura returns, giving him the massive confidence he used to feel during his peak gaming days. Guided entirely by instinct, he clicks and executes another crucial buy order in the system. By the day's end, a coworker stares in utter shock, seeing the rookie unhesitatingly bet everything on his very first move. Do not miss this. He risked 100% of his funds on a single stock. All right, you and I are diving into a world where everyone is working themselves to death without a single break. Gino Sr. looks incredibly hyped about her own performance, cracking her knuckles in anticipation. But she suddenly remembers her rookie partner and wonders how he is doing on his test, only to turn around and find him doing absolutely nothing at all. She starts panicking, thinking he might have lost so much money that his brain just completely shut down. Meanwhile, the guy is just lazily moving his mouse, looking totally bored with absolutely nothing left to do. He realized he blew his entire budget right at the start, leaving him empty-handed. Looking at the screen, he watches the stocks he bought absolutely cratering today. His senior walks over, asking him in a super friendly voice how his day of trading turned out. She proudly brags about her own 2% return, and our main character congratulates her with a curious, calm smile. She decides to check on her rookie's results, but looking at his screen, she gasps in pure horror, asking why he dumped everything into one single stock again. She lays into him, furious that he forgot the golden rule of investing: always diversify your assets. She insists that if he had just spread his funds out, his losses would not be this catastrophically massive. The poor guy feels completely trapped, unable to explain his secret ability, knowing she probably thinks he is hopeless. She warns him that this reckless behavior will not fly here, ordering him to stay overtime for a crash course on surviving in the trading department. Wrapping up her intense lecture, she looks him in the eye and asks if he finally understood her point, bursting with a giant grin and dramatic tears of joy. He passionately thanks her for being such an amazing mentor. Now, watch closely here. A freezing voice suddenly cuts through, asking if they think this is a game. As a furious assistant manager Yami Ju appears, they instantly bow in apology, while she coldly snaps that she is already too stressed to deal with their nonsense. She bluntly orders them to go set up the conference room, and Jinyo's senior jumps to obey without a second thought. The rookie whispers, Sax, she was so incredibly hostile, but his partner tells him to just read the room. She explains the stock market crashed hard today. Even manager Yang took heavy losses, meaning the entire department is on edge and ready to blow. The scene changes to other traders in the office with looks of absolute, soul-crushing despair. One guy desperately whines that even his short position was not enough to save him from this brutal crash. Another whispers that the rival teams must have gotten absolutely slaughtered too. But they instantly freeze as they spot their group leader walking in. Boss Park Hong-soo strides toward them, radiating his signature, completely intimidating presence. I know what you are thinking. Is he really joking about doing squats right now? Yes. He tells them to sweat out the stress before their meeting. The team instantly declines, scurrying off to prep the meeting room out of sheer, unadulterated terror of their boss. Meanwhile, in the break room, a rival team leader shows up just to kick them while they are down. This is Kim Haktae, a master provocateur who accuses Park of obvious choosing a political side in the company, leaving Park totally baffled by the claim. The rival sneers, explaining that because of Park, their own rookies had a brutal day doing pointless grunt work. He is talking about the special recruit the chairman personally slid into Park's team, but Park denies any favoritism. Park insists that is not the case at all, because he actually needs to test something critical about this rookie. Wound. He wanted to see if the kid was just another useless recruit, or if he actually possessed real talent. The rival warns him to keep a tight leash on the kid so he does not ruin their team. He reminds Park that high-level connections do not save anyone here, and Park's own neck is on the line. Message delivered. The rival swaggered away, leaving Park alone with his thoughts. The veteran boss stands in silence, carefully analyzing the warnings he just received. Cut back to the meeting, with Park standing before his deeply depressed, exhausted crew of traders. He commands everyone to hold their heads high despite the massive financial beating they took today. He fires them up, promising they will win it all back, but orders them to play defensively for now. But as he preaches caution, his eyes lock onto something weird. surrounded by utterly devastated faces. Gino is sitting there looking incredibly relaxed. The boss sighs, thinking it is a good thing this is just a practice test, since Gino's stocks crashed too. Gino's senior whispers that the boss looks totally miserable, but Gino shrugs it off, saying he seems perfectly fine. Meanwhile, the boss mentally sighs, thinking he got his hopes up way too fast regarding the rookie's hidden potential. He figures those battery stocks will never recover unless the Earth spins backward. But the very next morning, an unexpected shockwave hits the office. One of the senior traders stands frozen, jaw-dropping as he stares at the early morning news broadcast. And trust me, looking at his shocked face, you and I can tell the market just flipped completely upside down. All right, you and I are about to watch a massive bombshell drop. Indonesia, the biggest producer, is slashing nickel's supply by 30%. With the Indonesian government slashing production because of crashing prices, the entire office turns into pure chaos, with everyone running around frantically trying to cover positions. When the supply of a raw material suddenly drops, companies with zero reserves completely sink, while the ones with a solid inventory watch their stocks skyrocket like crazy on the market. A staff member rushes over to the team leader with the exact nickel reserve data he asked for. She reports that barely any domestic company has stockpiled the material, except for one single company with massive reserves. The boss completely freezes at the news as a wild thought starts brewing in his head. The employee reveals that single company is Dehan's solution, leaving him utterly speechless. Another coworker remarks in shock that Dehan's solution shares are surging today like a total rocket. Instantly, everyone in the meeting room remembers Gino quietly taking notes with total, absolute composure. He was smiling so calmly during the meeting, while everyone else was sweating, cold, and panicking. Nobody saw Indonesia's move coming, and the boss is desperately wondering how this rookie knew. But pay attention, because his coworker suddenly snaps him back to reality. His coworker comes over completely thrilled, and Gino quickly acts totally surprised to play it cool, recalling the advice he got yesterday. He matches her energy with fake excitement to keep any suspicion away. She celebrates this massive market twist, especially since yesterday everyone was saying the entire battery sector was completely doomed. Our main character remembers the stocks he bought are also battery related, and when he asks if the team shorted them, she says the damage was minimal. She praises team leader Park for his incredible instincts in suggesting they play it safe. Suddenly, a loud slam on a desk grabs everyone's attention across the entire office. Director Lee Tae-ho sits in deep thought, seriously analyzing the situation of this mysterious new hire. Team leader Park breaks the silence, asking the director for a quick word in private. Park gets straight to the point and proposes promoting someone to main team operator, revealing he wants to advance the rookie, Young-jin Ho. Then the scene suddenly cuts. The director is stunned by the proposal, wondering why on earth He would pick the chairman's personal recruit over in his private office. Chairman Wang Daewoo checks his phone, complaining about how cold people can be, with a visibly worried look. He wonders if his recommended rookie is doing all right at the new job. Now, let's head over to a restaurant where Gino and his mentor have their promised dinner. Watch closely, because she is about to drop the golden rule for surviving this department. She is totally right on this. You absolutely have to read the room when things get intense at the office. She warns him that the senior employees absolutely hate it when some fresh rookie performs better than they do. So she teaches him exactly how to act to stay completely under the radar of everyone else. Gino deeply admires her, thinking she is amazing for mentoring him so kindly. But he wonders if she would treat us the same way if she knew he got in through connections. His coworker snaps him out of his daze, and he quickly nods along to her wise advice. She encourages him, saying he shouldn't stress over initial numbers since absolutely everyone starts from scratch. Gino listens intently to every single word, nodding with a bright smile and feeling far more confident. Ending the night, they toast as she promises to teach him her grand strategy. But the next day at work, a massive surprise is waiting for him. The Dihan Solution stocks he bought yesterday have violently skyrocketed by 15%. With a highly relieved smile, Gino realizes his strange power is completely real, while his mentor's jaw drops in absolute shock. She is dying of sheer embarrassment, instantly covering her face with both of her hands. She cringes, recalling how she gave him an entire lecture yesterday over a tiny profit of just 2%. Right after, she bows and begs him to teach her his techniques, calling him senior, pinching his cheeks. She insists it was not just luck and tells him he is amazing. Gino thinks anyone else would feel totally jealous, but she is genuinely happy for his massive success, with his cheeks still pinched. He sincerely thanks her for being such a kind and understanding mentor. In another office, Leader Park presents the results to the director, who cannot believe a 15% return 2 days in a row. He deeply doubts these numbers, questioning if the brand new rookie actually picked those specific stocks. Leader Park listens to his boss's doubts in silent, serious composure, while the director flatly refuses to promote a rookie to avoid looking like a brown-noser. He claims it was pure luck, and that Gino only traded calmly because it was not real company money. But Park cuts him off, asking what would have happened if they had actually risked real corporate funds. And that is where we leave it. At the end of the day, Leader Park makes it clear that in trading, results are all that matter. Get ready, because today we are looking back at the classic advice he got as a complete rookie. Invest in safe assets. Clenching his fist, the leader decides that this time he will bet everything on the rookie. He is absolutely convinced that the chairman had very strong reasons for choosing Young Jin Ho. The chairman asks if they solved the battery stock problem. His assistant nods, explaining that the chaos scared several veterans so much that they chose to resign. Chairman Huang De-won reflects that investing is a mental battle, and leaving was honestly for the best. He mentions they got lucky, because if this happened in the American market, they would be completely broke. With that, the boss sends everyone back to work so they can eventually rest. The next day, alone in his office, the chairman relaxes after a chaotic shift. He loosens his tie while complaining about the absolute disaster that consumed the entire company today. One of his female employees quietly enters the office to discuss an extremely urgent matter. She reminds him that he personally asked her to closely monitor the rookie Young Jin Ho and report everything. The young woman informs him that the boy's name is already on the promotion list for senior operator. Pay close attention here. The chairman is in absolute shock, leaping off the couch as he tries to process what his assistant just revealed. He wonders how it is even possible to promote a rookie who has been at the company for less than a week. The situation worries him, making him question if he has finally lost his sharp eye for business. But the chairman quickly calms down and orders them to approve the promotion, leaving everyone completely shocked. Smiling, he reveals that all of this was already part of his original plan. The assistant leaves, leaving him alone to deeply reflect on his master move. He admits it was his own fault for not explaining things well, causing so much unnecessary confusion. Still with a mysterious smile, he thinks this little mix-up might actually be the best thing to happen. He firmly believes it is the perfect chance for Gino to learn firsthand how real investing is done. He looks out the window, thinking Gino must grow strong to survive. Suddenly, it is Saturday afternoon, and we see the young man riding the subway, completely exhausted. He is so physically drained that he can barely keep his eyes open on public transit. Arriving at the office, he bumps into his female superior and greets her with a lifeless hello. She smiles, admitting she did not expect to run into him, working over the weekend too. She explains that on Saturdays they analyze weekly data to understand the market, but to cheer him up, she adds that they leave at 2 p.m. and the work is light. What do you think? He highly doubts that analyzing old data actually helps predict the market. He challenges his colleague, questioning their methods by pointing out that the financial market works just like a casino and is nearly impossible to logically predict. Because of that, he asks her if studying the market and data so intensely is actually worth anything. His boss agrees that predicting the market is impossible, but says they must still constantly prepare themselves. She uses the butterfly effect metaphor to explain how distant events can end up affecting them. They prepare to raise their odds of success, concluding with absolute confidence that this constant anticipation is their best tool in such an unstable market. Our protagonist then recalls his friends complaining about how experienced rookies do not even exist anymore. They blame the job crisis, choosing to spend hours playing video games to escape their daily struggles. He reflects that, while he was wasting time, his boss was working her absolute hardest to rise. For a moment, The young man feels deeply ashamed for looking down on someone else's immense effort. With a fresh mindset, he resolves to give his best without fearing the results. Though deep down he still completely hates working on weekends. Finally back at his apartment, he pushes open the door, announcing loudly that he is home. Yet the place is strangely quiet and empty, leaving him wondering if anyone else is actually inside. Suddenly, a pillow flies straight his face, catching him completely off guard. He gets annoyed, asking why she did not say anything, but she just laughs, calling it hilarious. And that is where we leave them, as his little sister pops up, asking how things went.